Today's guest, Mr. Niranjan Badkas, is a Director Operations and a part of the Board of Directors at Garrett Motion Technologies India, formerly known as Honeywell Turbo Technologies India. Garrett is a $3.2 billion US-based differentiated technology leader serving worldwide customers for more than 65 years. Niranjan is a mechanical engineer and holds a diploma in business management. He is a certified Six Sigma Black Belt. He is passionate about cars and loves to drive and travel. He likes fiction and his favorite book is Shiva Trilogy.
Welcome viewers to a fresh new episode of Career, Life, Success and Marks. In this serial we have been talking about the importance of marks and how it impacts one's career. A lot of parents and students have a lot of concerns about the importance of marks. So marks, do they really indicate success? Let's find out from a real life hero, Niranjan. Welcome Niranjan to the show.
Hi Jen.
Tell us about your academics and how your journey in the school and college was.
So I was an average student. I didn't hated going to school, but I liked it because you get to meet friends there.
Oh.
So it was pretty interesting that way. But scoring high scores was never a goal.
Okay,
I didn't have that kind of a pressure at all.
very good. So you were
We
a
were
lucky.
pretty lucky. So parents used to just say study is important, but they never question me why did you got 60%, why did you got 55%, or why did you got 70%. So when I passed my 10th, I always aspired to be an engineer.
Okay.
I was not, as I said, not good in studies, but that doesn't mean that I was not able to study. I didn't relate to the philosophy of studying, then preparing for the test, mugging stuff, and then achieving 90% mark.
Right.
Learning what was basic was more important for me. Career goals were pretty clear that I wanted to be an engineer. So I straight away moved to Polytechnic diploma.
Okay.
Okay, and from there then I moved to engineering. And I always wanted to be a mechanical engineer, but one thing this mark did to me was when I passed 10th, I was barely 62-63% somewhere. Okay. So I got admission, but I didn't get the field I wanted.
Okay.
I wanted to become a mechanical engineer, and they gave me an admission in electrical.
Okay, so the polytechnic that you did was in electrical.
No, so the first year I got electrical.
Okay.
Then I went to the department and I said I want to convert it to mechanical. What I should do?
Mm-hmm. So this was when you just finished your 10th,
Yeah,
right?
this
So
was just
you were just
17,
17, 18 at
yes,
that time.
yeah.
But you were very clear about
Yeah.
what you wanted.
Yeah. So he said there is only one possibility if you want to be mechanical engineering. Is first year of diploma, you need to clear with minimum 65% of marks.
Okay.
Okay, now you imagine a student with 60%, 62% marks in 10th, and diploma first year people say is the most difficult one. I also heard in one of your series one person saying that if you clear diploma first year, okay, that means you can do PhD in
Yes.
your life. Perspective, but he said that's the only option that you have if you want to go to the bank.
So actually your teacher probably gave you a good challenge, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably motivation as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. So what happened that year then, I ended up scoring 70% in first year diploma.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent.
And then I changed my branch to mechanical in second year.
So can we say that, if a person is given the right motivation and if he has a burning desire, then, a not so good assumed student can also perform very good in the marks.
You're absolutely right, because unless that thing matters to you, you will not perceive it. Okay,
Right.
So it's from that perspective. So I think it was pretty interesting that time. Then from diploma I moved to engineering. Okay. After completing engineering again, because then nobody posts as a challenge that you achieve XYZ and you will go XYZ. So
Correct.
again, but I ended up passing engineering in first class. There were difficult times in between. Okay, was not a throughout the
Smooth, yeah.
candidate smooth. Okay, because at the same time I had a lot of interest in enjoying the life as well. So just wanted to burden myself with studies and
2001 you cleared your engineering.
Yes.
And so, I mean, how did your corporate journey start? Because was it a campus offer that you got, a good company walking in your campus and giving you an offer?
Absolutely not. With the career track record that I had, obviously campus was not an option.
Okay.
So as everybody that time was doing, trying to move towards IT, so I did tried my luck there. So worked in Mahindra Consulting for 6 months as a trainee.
Okay.
Okay, in IT, but then got fired because of this Y2K burst. And then I thought that I spent almost 6 years becoming an engineering graduate. I should stick to my field.
Okay. So you
Okay.
left IT and went
Yeah.
back to your original
Just
roots.
went back to my original roots. I cracked a job.
Okay.
That was for a development engineer in a small industry in Pune.
Okay.
I think the salary was 1750 and I had to travel 25 kilometers one way to reach the
Oh,
job.
God.
So that's how the career started. So it was not easy, not offered on a platter, but that's how the career started. From there I moved multiple companies. From there I moved to Bajaj Plastics in Nagpur, did a maintenance engineer job in all 3 shifts, learn how the operations happens in plastic. From there I moved to Faridabad in a gear manufacturing company, working in quality department,
Okay.
vendor development. So this is how the career was going. So Faridabad was the first automotive job that I had.
Okay.
And from there I got a break in Mahindra. So Mahindra was that time offering people jobs on contract. So I thought it's a good opportunity to enter into the automotive field. That was the dream for which I became an engineer.
Right,
So
right.
this is how the journey started. And from Mahindra then I moved to now currently where I'm working in Garrett Motion Technologies in 2006 approximately. That's how my corporate career actually started.
Took off.
And since then I'm still with Garrett Motion.
Okay. Okay. So how's been your corporate journey? I mean, so I think this is the same company, right? Which was Honeywell earlier.
Yes, so this is the same company which was Honeywell Fire. So the journey was pretty interesting. When I joined, it was a greenfield project. The company actually opened up in 2005. I joined in 2006.
Okay.
So it was a greenfield opportunity.
So you're talking of India operations of
India,
this US.
and I was responsible for setting up a department here in terms of
Wow.
warranty management and aftermarket and sales. So that was pretty interesting. So lot of exposure, and the best thing that happened was coming to a multinational company is exposure beyond city, beyond country. Yeah. So after joining this company, I think there is hardly any top city in the world that I have not visited. So it was really an interesting journey, and which is still continuing now.
So you studied mechanical engineering and now you are working in the same field. So how do you relate your scores and what was taught in your probably engineering and school to what you are currently doing?
I would say you end up using not more than 15 to 20% of what you study.
Okay.
The 80% comes from your experience in the industry. Okay.
When you don't have a job, you feel that getting a job is everything.
Correct.
But when you actually have a job in hand, you realize that it's just the beginning. So, you are such a successful person. So, what is it that makes one successful after getting the job?
See, first of all, I think I'm still not successful. Okay, but it depends upon, as you rightly said, what is the definition of success, right? So many people think that success means getting a corporate job, having a cabin, people reporting into you, what kind of a house you live, how many cars you have, or what kind of a car you drive,
Right.
how many foreign trips. So if that's success, then yes, I am successful. but whether the objective of life is fulfilled, I still feel sometimes question mark. Somewhere in my mind, back of my mind, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, which I'm still not. Okay, so maybe when time comes and I enter into that game, I may call myself successful. Okay, don't stop on that. You got a job now. I'll sit here and enjoy this. Okay, keep on exploring. Keep taking risk. Okay, I'll just give an example. When I moved in my corporate career, I was first in quality and engineering, and from engineering I jumped into operations of production with zero knowledge about production.
Okay.
In between my peak of career. Okay, so that's a risk that I took, which brought me
Definitely.
today here. So risk taking ability is very important in the corporate journey.
And from an advice perspective to parents and teachers who are always under stress, you know, that marks. I'm sure you see it all around us. So what's your advice to the parents and the students?
Well, that if you can make your hobby as your profession, you are the happiest person in the life.
Right.
Okay, so let them do what they want.
Do what you like.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. Absolutely. One important question which I want to understand. See, typically people really don't have a lot of idea of what exactly is mechanical engineering. I mean, there was a time, if you recollect, when mechanical engineering was considered to be real engineering. However, today the definitions have changed.
Yeah.
And today, anybody who talks of engineering, the expectation is it's computer engineering, and that too, if we talk Indian context, it's considered as software engineering.
Yeah.
So computer also is a large area, but typically it's considered as software engineering.
Yeah.
So mechanical engineering or specifically automotive industry that you work in, can you just give a brief of what kind of careers people can really look at?
So you have lot of options. Okay. Mechanical industry, there are many career options you can consider. You can work in quality, you can work in production, you can work in supply chain, you can work in manufacturing engineering. This is also engineering.
Right.
Okay. And you can work in sales, you can work in customer management, you can work in business development.
Okay, so it's not just restricted to the shop floor.
No, it's not restricted to shop floor. Shop floor is just one portion of it. So
Correct, because that's what probably comes to a common man's mind when we talk of manufacturing. And how do you see the impact of this Make in India on the creation of jobs in the automobile sector?
I think it's a great initiative, and if the manufacturing industry thrives, then the nation grows. Okay, that's very important, and we have seen from countries like China. Okay, today they have grown multifold because of their manufacturing sector is very strong. So it's a great initiative by Government of India for Make in India, and surely this is helping to create a lot of jobs. People say that jobs are not available. When I go out for hiring people, I don't find people to hire for jobs. That's the situation. Okay. So if you try, the job is available outside. That's what I can tell.
There are people available. There are graduates. There are engineers. And probably they don't have the kind of knowledge which is expected, and the candidates are not really able to crack that interview. So do you really find that gap existing?
Everybody wants to be an engineer. So what happens is you have a level of engineer, B level of engineer, and a C level of engineer. Now this particular C level of engineer probably is because somebody pushed him in engineering.
Right.
Okay. And for him, then there is no option other than to find jobs in engineering because he has completed his education in engineering. So that's what happens. So if you really want to be an engineer, get into engineering field. Okay. And don't be an half-hearted engineer.
That's an important thing. There are a lot of industries, there are a lot of sectors which are coming up in India, outside India, and these kind of inputs is what really is required. Niranjan, thanks a lot for your time, and
Thank you, Jan.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So viewers, that was Niranjan talking about his experience. I'm sure you'll find something definitely useful from this conversation. So see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching this episode. Thank you.